Imagine walking through the silent corridors of an ancient tomb. The air is heavy, the walls covered in strange symbols, and every shadow feels alive. In the distance you see the figure of a man with the head of a jackal, watching you closely. This is not a dream. It is the eternal presence of Anubis, the mysterious guardian of the dead. Hello, fan of ancient Egypt. Welcome to the mysteries of ancient Egypt. Today, we are going to uncover the dark secret of Anubis, one of the most feared and fascinating gods of Egyptian mythology. Stay with me, because what you will hear may change forever the way you see the journey of the soul after death. Anubis, often depicted with the sleek black head of a jackal, was not just another deity among many. To the ancient Egyptians, he represented the thin line between life and the eternal unknown. He was the one who stood in judgment when a soul reached the hall of truth. His duty was terrifying, to weigh the heart of the dead against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and order. Imagine standing before him, knowing that every action, every thought, every hidden sin would decide your fate. If your heart was heavier than the feather, your soul would be devoured by Amit, a monstrous creature that ended your existence forever. But there is a darker side to Anubis that many do not know. Unlike the benevolent gods who offered blessings, Anubis thrived in shadows. He was invoked in funerary rituals, embalming chambers, and secret ceremonies where priests whispered his name with trembling lips. The jackal itself was a scavenger, feeding on corpses in the desert sands, and this image only strengthened the fear and respect the Egyptians felt for him. Yet, Anubis was also essential. Without him, the soul could not find its path to eternity. He guided the dead, preserved their bodies, and ensured their safe passage. It was a terrifying paradox. The same God who frightened mortals also protected them after death. And here lies the secret we will unravel in this video. Why was Anubis both feared and worshipped, a god of shadows who became indispensable for eternal life? Before we continue, make sure you are subscribed to the Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. The story you are about to hear is filled with revelations, and the final secret will be the most curious of all. To understand the dark secret of Anubis, we need to travel back thousands of years into the heart of Egyptian beliefs about death and the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end. It was a dangerous journey, filled with trials, monsters, and divine judges. Without guidance, the soul would be lost forever. This is where Anubis became vital. He was not just the god of mummification, he was the protector of the soul's passage. Priests devoted to Anubis held the most delicate and sacred role in society. They performed the rituals of embalming, carefully removing organs, drying the body with natron, and wrapping it in endless layers of linen. But these rituals were not just physical acts. They were spiritual. The priests whispered prayers to Anubis, asking him to accept the deceased and to guard their essence. In these moments, Anubis was seen as both compassionate and terrifying. Compassionate because he preserved life after death. Terrifying because only he knew if the soul was worthy of reaching eternity. The black color of Anubis's jackal head was no accident. Black, for the Egyptians, symbolized fertility and rebirth, but also the darkness of the grave. It was a reminder that death and life were deeply connected, inseparable forces of existence. Anubis embodied this paradox. He was a god of death, yet also the bringer of rebirth, ensuring that the dead could rise again in the afterlife. Legends tell us that Anubis was once the most important funerary god, long before Osiris claimed that role. Some myths suggest that Anubis was the son of Osiris himself, born from a secret union with Nephthys. This hidden origin already gave him a mysterious aura. A god born of secrecy, who ruled over the hidden world of tombs and cemeteries, watching over the bodies that lay in silence beneath the desert sands. But here is where the mystery deepens. Anubis was not only present in sacred rituals, he was also feared outside them. People believed that if proper offerings were not made, Anubis could abandon the soul, leaving it to wander lost forever. Some even feared that he could send jackals to disturb the graves of those who disrespected his name. Imagine living in that world, where the silence of the night and the cry of a jackal in the distance was not just an animal sound, it was a divine warning. And yet, Egyptians continued to trust Anubis with the most precious thing they had, their souls. They built statues of him to guard tombs. They carved his image on sarcophagi, and they prayed for his protection. He was both a feared shadow and a guiding light, a god whose judgment could mean either eternal life or total destruction. This is why Anubis remains one of the most enigmatic figures of all Egyptian mythology. He represents the eternal fear of death, but also the eternal hope of life beyond the grave. And in the next part, we will dive even deeper into the rituals and secrets of his worship, mysteries that even today leave scholars astonished. So if you are enjoying this journey, leave a like and share this video with someone who loves the mysteries of ancient Egypt. The story of Anubis is just beginning, and the final revelation will shock you. Anubis's role in funerary rituals was not only practical but deeply symbolic. Every gesture of the embalming priests was a reenactment of divine actions. When they purified the body with sacred oils, they believed Anubis himself guided their hands. When they sealed the wrappings, they whispered incantations that called upon his protection. These were not simple customs. They were acts meant to open the gates of eternity. One of the most powerful ceremonies where Anubis took center stage was the opening of the mouth. In this ritual, priests touched the lips of the deceased with a special tool, symbolically giving the dead the ability to breathe, speak, and eat in the afterlife. Without it, the soul would remain mute, incapable of communicating in the world of the dead. And who oversaw this process? Anubis, the ever-present guardian, ensuring that the ritual was complete and that the passage to the afterlife could begin. Ancient texts, such as the Book of the Dead, constantly mention Anubis as the Lord of the Sacred Land, the one who walks between tombs. In paintings inside tombs, we see him standing calmly beside the sarcophagus, his jackal face watching in silence as if waiting to escort the soul. To the living, these images were both reassuring and chilling. They knew Anubis was watching, not only to protect, but also to judge. Archaeological discoveries reinforce this duality. In Saqqara, the necropolis near Memphis, excavations revealed temples dedicated to Anubis, places where priests worked tirelessly to preserve the dead. But within those temples, archaeologists also found hidden chambers, full of mummified animals, especially dogs and jackals. These were sacrifices made in his honor, proof of the fear and devotion Egyptians carried toward him. Anubis was not a god to be taken lightly. He demanded respect, even offerings of life itself. There are also stories of tomb robbers who feared invoking his name. Legends say that those who desecrated graves without performing the proper rites often faced mysterious deaths. Their bodies were found mutilated, as if jackals had devoured them. Whether myth or reality, these tales strengthened Anubis's reputation as a relentless guardian. Even criminals who stole from kings whispered prayers to him, hoping to escape his wrath. But what truly sets Anubis apart from other gods is his intimate relationship with humanity. Unlike Ra, who ruled the sky, or Osiris, who reigned as a distant king of the underworld, Anubis was close, present in every burial, in every whispered prayer over a corpse, in every hope that a loved one would be safe beyond death. He was the shadow beside the body, the invisible guide walking through the desert of eternity. This connection made him both terrifying and beloved. For the Egyptians, there was no escaping Anubis. He was there at the moment of death, during the rituals of embalming, and at the final judgment. His eyes never closed. His watch never ended. He was the eternal reminder that death was not the end, but only the beginning of a greater journey. In the next part, we will uncover how Anubis's image transformed over time, and how his secrets influenced not only Egyptian rituals, but also later cultures that inherited fragments of his myth. If you are fascinated by this story, don't forget to subscribe to the Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. More secrets are waiting to be revealed, and the greatest one lies at the end of this journey. As centuries passed, the figure of Anubis evolved, yet his presence never lost its power. In the earliest dynasties, he was the supreme god of the dead. It was only later, with the rise of Osiris, that his role shifted. Instead of disappearing, Anubis became the loyal protector of Osiris, the one who embalmed him after his murder by Seth. In this myth, Anubis was not only the guardian, but also the first to perform the act of mummification, setting the divine example for all human rituals that followed. This myth elevated Anubis from a distant god to an intimate figure. He was the one who prepared even the gods themselves for eternal life. Imagine the symbolism. If even Osiris, king of the underworld, needed Anubis to prepare his body, then surely no human soul could survive without his aid. This belief reinforced the fear and reverence surrounding him. As Egyptian culture spread and interacted with neighboring civilizations, Anubis's image also transformed. The Greeks, when they encountered him, linked him to their own god Hermes, the guide of souls. They called him Hermanubis, a hybrid deity who carried the wisdom of both cultures. This blending shows how powerful and mysterious Anubis remained, even beyond Egypt's borders. He was no longer just the Egyptian guardian of tombs. He became a universal symbol of passage between worlds. But here lies another layer of his dark secret. While most gods were adored with open temples, Anubis's worship was often hidden. His ceremonies took place in the necropolises, away from the eyes of the common people. Only priests, embalmers, and those who dealt directly with the dead could participate. To the rest of society, Anubis remained a shadowy figure, feared, invoked, but rarely celebrated in public festivals. This secrecy only added to his aura of danger and mystery. Even today, archaeologists marvel at the precision and care of Egyptian mummification, techniques so advanced that many bodies remain preserved for thousands of years. Behind this mastery stands the invisible hand of Anubis. Every cut of the embalmer's blade, every layer of linen, every sacred amulet placed within the wrappings, all were done under his divine supervision. To fail in these tasks was not just a human mistake. It was an offense to Anubis himself. And yet, despite his fearsome reputation, many Egyptians felt comfort in his presence. To them, Anubis was like a watchful guardian who never abandoned the dead. His black jackal form was seen at the entrance of tombs, reminding mourners that their loved one was safe, that no spirit would wander lost as long as Anubis walked beside them. This paradox, terror mixed with protection, made Anubis unique. He was not a god of joy or light, but he was indispensable. He symbolized the unavoidable truth of death, but also the possibility of triumph beyond it. That is why his cult survived for millennia, and why his dark secret still fascinates us today. In the next part, we will reveal the hidden practices of Anubis's priests, rituals so secret that even modern scholars debate their full meaning. Some say they held knowledge that could manipulate life and death itself. If you are enjoying this journey into the shadows of ancient Egypt, leave a comment below. Tell us, what do you think Anubis truly represents, fear or hope? If we wish to uncover the true depth of Anubis's dark secret, we must enter the hidden world of his priests, the men who dedicated their lives to serving him. These priests were not ordinary members of society. They lived on the edge of fear and reverence, carrying knowledge that few dared to approach. Their work was sacred, but it was also dangerous. Handling the dead, touching what was considered impure, meant they were constantly exposed to spiritual risks. Yet they believed Anubis himself protected them from harm. The rituals they performed went far beyond the physical act of embalming. Ancient texts describe chants whispered into the ears of the dead, spells intended to guide the soul through the underworld. Special amulets were placed between the wrappings, scarabs, eyes of Horus, and other symbols, each one charged with power. The priest said these objects were gifts accepted by Anubis, allowing the soul to travel safely past demons and obstacles in the afterlife. Without them, the journey would be filled with torment. One of the most mysterious practices was the preparation of the shadow body. Some scholars believe priests performed rituals that not only preserved the physical body, but also anchored the ka, the spiritual double of a person, so it could remain intact. To lose the Ka meant eternal destruction, and Anubis was the guardian who ensured it would remain safe. This idea shows how the priests were not just preserving flesh, they were maintaining the very essence of existence. But their secrets came with a price. There are ancient records suggesting that priests who failed in their duties were cursed. Tomb paintings show Anubis standing over careless embalmers, ready to punish them. These images served as warnings. Mistakes in ritual were not only human errors, but offenses against the god himself. The fear of such punishment kept the priests in absolute devotion. Legends also speak of hidden chambers beneath the great necropolises, where priests gathered for ceremonies that the common people never witnessed. Some say they used fire, smoke, and sacred oils to call upon Anubis, seeking visions of the afterlife. Others believed they could even communicate with the souls of the dead, asking them for knowledge or guidance. Whether these accounts are myth or truth, they remind us that Anubis's cult was wrapped in mystery, secrecy, and awe. What fascinates modern historians is how this secretive worship lasted for thousands of years without losing strength. While other deities rose and fell in importance, Anubis remained constant. His presence was too essential, too deeply rooted in the Egyptian view of death. Even when Osiris took the throne of the underworld, Anubis never vanished. He simply shifted roles, proving that no soul could escape his watch. And now, as we prepare for the final part of this journey, the greatest mystery still awaits. The ultimate secret of Anubis. The reason he continues to haunt our imagination even today. Before we reveal it, make sure you are subscribed to the mysteries of ancient Egypt. The last chapter will uncover the most curious secret of all. Now we arrive at the last and most curious secret of Anubis. For centuries, people have asked, why did the Egyptians place such deep trust in a god who embodied fear, darkness, and the silence of the tomb? The answer lies in a truth that reaches beyond Egypt itself. Anubis was not only the guardian of death, he was the keeper of transformation. Death terrified the Egyptians, just as it terrifies us today. But Anubis turned this fear into order. He took chaos, the decay of the body, the uncertainty of the soul, and gave it structure. Through mummification, rituals, and judgment, he provided a path where there was none. In a way, Anubis was not simply the god of the dead. He was the god of continuity, the assurance that life had meaning even beyond its final breath. This is his dark secret. Anubis taught humanity to face death, not as an end, but as a sacred passage. The Egyptians believed that without him, existence would collapse into nothingness. With him, however, death became a bridge to eternity. His terrifying presence, the jackal eyes that never blinked, were not meant only to inspire fear, but to remind every mortal that the journey of the soul could only succeed through discipline, respect, and truth. Even more intriguing is how his influence never truly disappeared. In later centuries, echoes of Anubis appeared in other cultures. The Greeks saw him as Hermanubis, the Romans placed his image on magical amulets, and even in medieval times, travelers told stories of jackal-headed figures wandering in ancient ruins. His shadow has never left humanity's imagination, because the questions he represents about death, judgment, and eternity remain alive within us all. Modern scholars like Sir E. A. Wallace Budge and James P. Allen highlight how Anubis embodies the universal human struggle with mortality. He is a mirror of our fears, but also of our hopes. By facing him, the Egyptians faced the deepest truth of existence, that life and death are inseparable, and that only through the acceptance of both can we understand eternity. So, as you listen to this story, think of Anubis not only as a figure of mythology, but as a symbol of something greater. He reminds us that in the darkest shadows lies the promise of light, that even in death there is a path to meaning. Perhaps this is why his image still fascinates us, why the jackal-headed guardian continues to stand silently at the door of history, waiting. And now, you know his greatest secret. Anubis is not simply the god of the dead. He is the eternal guardian of transformation, the one who ensures that nothing is ever truly lost. If you enjoyed this journey through the mysteries of ancient Egypt, Don't forget to subscribe to The Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. Leave your like and share this video with those who also seek the hidden truths of history. And when this video ends, stay with us. Another story of the pharaohs and gods of Egypt awaits you on our channel. The mysteries never end.